Hello everybody, welcome to the Greenway Sports channel. My name is Kyle. I am currently a business major and I am a full-time employee also. I have been doing the sports betting thing for the past 3 years now, while also taking more of an advisory role the past year. I have up to 20 clients right now, and I'm just really excited for this season. I want to expand my group of clients and just expand the amount of people that I'm able to help and able to help out, make some extra cash and be able to do the things that they've been wanting to do for a while and have been on like the back burner, like buy that boat or buy, that dirt bike, vacation, whatever it may be. Basically, I just want to help out more and more people be able to be in that position to do something like that. But I don't want this video to be too long here. It is my first video ever. So if you guys could real quick, just go ahead, leave a like. Go ahead, press the subscribe button and the notification button. Every single time I post something, you will be notified if you do that. And that way you get the best information possible and you can get that as quick as possible. So let's get ahead. Let's get started, like I said, right into it here. Don't want to waste too much time. We have the Green Bay Packers going up against the Chicago Bears for Week 1, the first game of the season. Very excited for this game. The spread is -3 in favor of the Bears. Over-under is 46.5. This is going to be a really fun game to sit back and watch. I personally will not be betting or advising anyone to be betting on this game. You want to sit back and see how these teams perform. You have the Chicago Bears, who are coming off of an extremely impressive season, while you have the Packers coming off of a subpar season. They have a new head coach, offensive coordinator. We're not sure how him and Aaron Rodgers are going to work out. And I just really want to sit back and see how this game comes along and see what these teams put on tape and just go ahead and see how it goes before we put any type of money on either of these teams. I still have some question marks with Mitchell Trubisky. I have question marks with the Packers offense, even though I do believe it'll be alright. I mean, they have Aaron Rodgers. They have a good supporting cast for him this year, and the defense is a lot better than it has been in years past. They made a lot of additions in the offseason. If I had to go with anything here, I'm going with the Packers plus the 3 and the under, simply because I like the defenses a lot better than I do the offenses. But that is not going to be a game we will be betting on or advising anyone to be betting on. Next, we have the Atlanta Falcons going up against the Minnesota Vikings. Spread here, the Vikings are favored by 4. Over-under is 47.5. Now, this game is pretty interesting. You have two teams who are finally healthy, it seems, and two really good offenses along with decent defenses. First, initial thoughts here, I would stay away from this game. You do have some value here with the Falcons plus the 4. The over-under isn't terrible if you are thinking over. This is not what I would consider a safe bet, though. You have two really explosive teams, guys that haven't really been playing in a while. Dalvin Cook hasn't been playing. The Falcons, just about everybody on their defense is back from injury last year, so we're just going to have to see how these guys play. Much like a lot of games this week, it's Week 1. You don't want to go ahead and just blow a bunch of money Week 1 because you really have no clue what's going to be out on the field. So if there's anything you take from this video, let it be that, you want to sit back and watch and just enjoy these games and learn from them rather than bet money and then learn from them that way. Just sit back, enjoy the games, and try to take as many notes as you can here when you do watch them. But let's move on. We have the Rams going up against the Panthers. Spread is Rams minus the 3, and the over-under is 50.5. You have the Rams here. Coming off of a Super Bowl loss, you got to believe that they'll be motivated, ready for this game. While you have the Panthers, you're not sure what you're getting Cam Newton because of the Week 3 preseason injury he sustained. We're not sure how he's going to play or what he's going to look like. He was seen walking out of the game in a walking boot. I have heard that he's out of it now, but it is interesting, and I want to see how Cam looks out there before I put any type of money or advise anyone to put any type of money on it. Just looking at this game, though, the Rams do have good value at -3, and the over-under 50.5 is something where you might want to stay away from. But if you do believe that these offenses are capable of putting up a lot of points like last year, the over might be something you might want to entertain. quick little plug, guys. If you look at the link below or the description below, you have 2 packages there and my email address. If you have been watching this far into the video, go ahead, email me, and you get both of those packages for free week 1, just so you understand what exactly I provide to you guys and what you'll be getting if you do sign up for each of these packages. Everything, all the details will be in the description below. Make sure you check that out. Go ahead and email me if you have any questions or you would like those free packages. Like I said, they'll have all the picks for the week, breakdowns of every game, statistics, everything that you're going to need to make the best choice possible. And that is the family package there. I have a team package, you have my locks, you have everything like that, all the important information. So make sure you check it out, guys. Quick little plug there, sorry. And next we have the Tennessee Titans going up against the Cleveland Browns. It's in Cleveland. Spread is -5.5. Over/under is 45.5. The Cleveland Browns roster is stacked on paper. John Dorsey has done a great job putting that team together, but they do sling the ball around a lot, it seems. It seems like they're going to be a lot more fast-paced this year. You might want to consider the over. You got to think that Mariota is going to be ready to perform, ready to go, considering you have Ryan Tannehill right behind him threatening for that starting job. So the over might be something you might want to consider, and I do like the Browns minus the 5.5 just because I don't believe the Titans are going to be able to keep up offensively because of the Cleveland Browns defense, and I don't think that the Browns offense will have too much trouble scoring. This game could get ugly considering it's at Cleveland. A lot of hype, a lot of momentum coming into this game for the Browns from the offseason. So you might want to keep your eye on that one there. Next we have the Chiefs going up against the Jaguars. Spread is Chiefs -4, over/under 52. If you believe the Jacksonville Jaguars with Nick Foles, if they can keep up with the Chiefs, this might be a tough game for you. If you think that Nick Foles isn't that type of quarterback, you don't think that he can keep up with Patrick Mahomes, this -4 should be very attractive to you. I'm not sure where I am with that yet. I need to see how Nick Foles performs with the Jaguars. If they run the offense correctly, it could be a really good team for him, and they can win a lot of games this year. So I want to see how they perform, see what they put on tape before I bet on anything like this. But like I said, if you're a big believer in Patrick Mahomes and you believe that Nick Foles isn't capable of doing what he did with the Eagles, with the Jags, the -4 might be a really good bet for you there. Like I said, guys, these are just quick little brief breakdowns. If you want real descriptive breakdowns of each and every game on paper written down, those will be in the link below, the description below, with the team and family packages if you want those for free. Free week 1 giveaway type thing, just to welcome you guys to my channel. Just email me and request both of those and I will send them to you immediately. But going on here, we have the Ravens going up against the Dolphins. Spread Ravens -7, over/under 37.5. Just off of initial thoughts or sites here, you see the Ravens are definitely having the public eye here, and the over is definitely swaying a lot of people. But as much as I agree, I do have a few problems with the Ravens. Their front 7 is weak defensively, and on offense, I believe that they struggle in the red zone. Just from what I've seen in the preseason and looking at their roster, it doesn't mean that they can't be good still and they won't absolutely destroy the Dolphins. I just think going on in the season, they will have struggles here and there because of those problems that I stated earlier, like the weak front 7, the red zone problems that they seem to might be having. But I do think that the Ravens are going to come away with that game with a victory. So if you want to bet anything there, the -7 for the Ravens might be a look. You have Ryan Fitzpatrick there, quarterbacking for the Dolphins. So if you think he's going to go ahead and not show up, especially considering that they just traded away their starting left tackle and starting receiver, the -7 doesn't seem too bad. It was at -5, now it's at -7, so public's definitely hammering the Ravens there. Anyways, let's move on. We have the Buffalo Bills at New York going up against the Jets. Jets are favored by 3 points, and the over-under is 40. Another one of those games where we want to sit back, enjoy this game, and just study as much of it as we can. We want to figure out exactly what these teams are planning on doing, offensively and defensively, and what their approach is and their plan and everything like that. We just don't know what these teams are going to put out. A lot of new additions for both teams. You have Josh Allen and Sam Darnold coming into their second year, and we just really want to make sure we know who these teams are before we do bet on them. But I'm a big fan of the Buffalo roster, and I do believe that the Jets kind of spent a lot of money in the offseason, but I'm not sure if it's going to end up being money well spent. I hope it is for them and their fans, but just where they spent money and how they spent it, I'm not sure if it's going to work out for them. The over-under, though, I do like that over just because it's such a low over-under, and you have two quarterbacks that aren't afraid to throw the ball around. And I just think there might be some turnovers in there. I think that there's going to be some big plays. I don't think that the over-under is too high there. That might be something you might want to consider picking the over. Next game here, we have the Redskins going up against the Eagles in Philly. Spread is -9, over-under 45.5. If you believe that the Eagles have the talent and everything like that to be able to blow out the Redskins week 1 at home, that might be a good idea for you. The Redskins may play kind of conservative considering they have Case Keenum at quarterback. Their offensive line is weak without Trent Williams. They don't have much of a receiving core. I could see them just trying to run the ball a lot. And the Eagles' biggest strength is arguably their front seven. So these teams do kind of go hand in hand pretty easily. You would think that the Eagles have a huge advantage, which it shows here. The -9 isn't that big of a spread considering the talent difference. And the over-under 45.5, it's best to stay away from these over-unders because the Redskins could easily score only 3 points, and I would not be surprised. So we just have to see how they perform before we can or do bet on them. You want to really stick to the rules that you have when you're doing the sports betting thing. It's very similar to stocks in many ways. You just want to have little rules for yourself and make sure that you abide to those rules. But next we have the Colts going up against the Chargers. Colts have Jacoby Brissett as their new starting quarterback with the Andrew Luck retirement. Chargers, it's not looking like Melvin Gordon is going to be able to be there week 1. What's his name? Melvin Gordon, Melvin Gordon, the running back. It's looking like he's not going to be able to be there. He's holding out for a new contract. Over-under is 44.5. I want to stay away from this game because I'm hearing reports coming out of the Colts side that Jacoby Brissett is someone that they believe in and they think he's capable of doing just as good as Andrew Luck, if not better, which I don't really believe. I think they're just saying that to sell tickets and keep the morale high. But it's something that we simply have to respect, and we can't risk it there. Again, a stay-away game, but if you do believe in Jacoby Brissett, the over may be a good idea for you, simply because if this is Andrew Luck in the game, this over-under is at 50, easily. You're getting really good value here if you are a believer in Jacoby Brissett. So if you are a believer in him and you don't want to risk it playing the spread, the total might be something you want to look at. Let's move on here. We have the Bengals going up against the Seahawks in Seattle. Big spread here again, -9.5, favored with the Seahawks. Over-under 44.5. Again, another game. I don't like betting on bad teams. It's just one of another rule of mine. Or betting against bad teams either. It's just you never know what you're going to get. They're really up and down. The Bengals are one of those teams. Seahawks, they're also somewhat unpredictable. They look really good defensively. Offensively, I think that they're lacking experience, I would guess you could say, at the receiver position. but they still have a good quarterback and running back, obviously. Good offensive line, good defense. They just got Jadeveon Clowney, so that's definitely a big boost for them. But this is not a game I will be considering betting on or anything like that. If you're big on the Seahawks, that minus 9.5 may not look like a lot to you. I mean, the Bengals are without A.J. Green, and they're the Bengals. So they also have a first-year head coach, offensive coordinator with Zach Taylor. So take that how you want it, but I would stay away there. Next, we have the Lions going up against the Cardinals. Spread is minus 2.5 with the Lions. Over-under is 47.5. I will be staying away from this game, again, because you have two really bad teams. The Cardinals are very weak in terms of the roster and how I view the players. The Lions are a much better team overall, but you have to have that factor of having the number 1 overall pick in Kyler Murray. You're not sure what he's going to do or how he's going to perform or anything like that. You're not sure how the coach, I'm blanking on his name right now, but the head coach and offensive coordinator for the Cardinals, you're not sure how he's going to be, like what his approach is going to be towards the game. So you want to wait and see how they perform. It's at home for Arizona, so it's hard to bet against them. But if you aren't a believer in Kyler Murray, or you believe that teams that start off their quarterback week 1 and new offense, new everything, and you think that that's a bad thing for them, this minus 2.5 is not a big spread at all. That's very good value. I would definitely hammer that if that's how you believe. You believe that the Cardinals aren't ready for that, ready for that NFL competition, and this might be a little bit of a wake-up call for them. But like I said, I'm staying away from this game. The Lions do have a better team, but you got to think of the number 1 overall pick, new head coach for the Cardinals, stuff like that. Not something that I personally would like to mess with or bet on. Next, we have the Giants and the Cowboys. And just a quick little reminder, guys, if you did want to know about how I make the picks or what process I go through to make the picks that I would send to you guys as my clients, feel free, email me. Make sure you get that you get the 2 free packages, but also email me and just ask about that process, and I'll be more than open to go ahead and share exactly how I come down to these picks and pretty much how I can assure you guys that you are getting the best picks possible on the internet from a advisory role, for the sports betting world. So, like I said, feel free, guys, email me, ask me any questions you have, or even in the comments below, go ahead and leave a comment, whether it's criticism or a video idea you may have, or any type of idea or comment you may have. Make sure you leave that below. But moving on here, we have the Giants at the Cowboys. Spread is minus 7 in favor of the Cowboys, over 45.5. Another one where it's kind of difficult. You're not sure if Ezekiel Elliott is going to be playing. We know Eli Manning is playing, but we don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. I mean, the guy could come into the season lighting it up, showing everybody why the Giants were stupid to pick up Daniel Jones. Or he could come out here, shit the bed, and Daniel Jones could come in and perform well for the Giants. We're not sure what we're going to see. Eli Manning, he could just not show up at all. Have one of the classic Eli games where he throws a ton of interceptions. The Cowboys do have a good defense, but without Zeke on offense, you're not really sure how it's going to look. I'm staying away from this game. I'm enjoying this game. I'm watching it. I advise you do the same thing, but if you were to bet on it, the smart bet would be Dallas minus the 7, but I kind of am leaning more towards the Giants, simply because they have stability in Saquon Barkley. I think Eli's going to play it smart, considering he knows Daniel Jones is right behind him, looking right through him, ready for that chance that he's been waiting for since he got drafted to become that starting quarterback. So I think that the Giants have a bit more to play for here in this game, and considering it's a division foe, I think Eli has a pretty good chance of being able to have the upper hand and perform well. If Zeke isn't in this game, the Cowboys could struggle to run the ball, thus struggle to pass the ball, because when Dak tries to do too much, it just never really seems like it ends well. So, take that how you want it. I won't be betting that game. I'm going to be enjoying that game for sure. Next, we have the 49ers at Tampa Bay going up against the Buccaneers. Spread is even. Over-under is 50. Huge shout out, by the way, to OddsShark for this website. They do a great job having a bunch of information here. If we scroll down, bunch of information. You have everything you need pretty much to make a educated guess and stuff like that. That is not what I do. When I go through these picks, I have a 4-step process. Like I said, if you want to know about that, email me. We'll talk about it. Moving on. Spread is even here. Over-under is 50. You have 49ers with Jimmy Garoppolo, who have not looked well, to say the least, in preseason. They haven't looked great at all. Jimmy G, he threw 5 interceptions in a row at practice, it was reported. In the preseason game, like I said, he did not look good. He looked very uneasy. And then you have the Buccaneers with new head coach and offensive coordinator Bruce Arians. You have a lot of returning players on both sides of the ball. Just with all that being said, you got to think that you should be on the side with the Buccaneers. But at the same time, you got to remember it's Kyle Shanahan with the 49ers. That dude is a genius. He could definitely make anything work, any player work. I mean, he had guys like Nick Mullins, CJ Beathard coming in there and actually playing well, winning games for them. Jimmy G is not a bad quarterback. He just has to get back in the swing of things. It may not be this week, but eventually in the season, I think the 49ers will be a team we want to bet with and we want to bet on because they will have better value. But I'm not sure if this game is a game where the 49ers will play well. We're going to have to wait and see. But off of first impressions, I definitely like the Buccaneers here. They typically start the season off very strong. Last year they won 48-40 going up against the Saints week 1. So you might want to consider the Bucs there at home. I feel like that's a pretty good value pick there. Next we have Sunday Night Football. Pittsburgh Steelers going up against the Patriots. In New England, spread is -6 with the Pats and over 51. I do like the over here. I think both offenses are ready to kind of put on a show, explode. I think that the Patriots are going to run more of a spread look, which means more passing, more explosive plays, stuff like that. The reason why I say that is because they've just lost Gronk. They don't have much of a tight end anymore. I mean, they still have a tight end, but nothing like Gronk or nothing productive enough to still run the same offense as if Gronk was there. So I think that it's going to be fairly high scoring. The ball is going to be thrown around a lot. If you believe in a team like the Steelers, how they got rid of a lot of just bad juju, bad feelings, stuff like that with the departure of Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell, if you believe in stuff like that helping out a team and making them better, I would definitely go with the Steelers here. I'm not sure if in the long run this season they're going to be too great, but I think that they may start off the season hot. The reason why I say that is just because they seem like a really good team right now. They move as one, it seems. It seems like they want the guy right next to them to succeed just as bad as they want to succeed. So a team like that is pretty scary, especially when you have the Patriots coming off of the Super Bowl win. The Steelers are going to want to go out and prove that they're capable of hanging around and sticking up and being with the Patriots and being on their level, everything like that. So you're definitely getting good value at +6 if you believe in the Steelers. And just the FYI, the Patriots do typically start off each season pretty slow and weak. So it might be something you might want to consider or look more into, or possibly just, like I said, email me and see the exact locks for the week and get that team and family package. But we have Monday Night Football here. We have 2 more games left. We have the Texans at New Orleans playing up against the Saints. Saints are favored by 7. Over-under is 53. If you believe in, I would say if you believe in, but that's pretty much what I want to do here. I want to just give you guys information and basically help you just go the right direction. You know what I mean? But if you believe in history repeating itself and team tendencies and stats and everything like that, you would want to hammer Texans plus the 7, simply because the Saints lose every single game, week 1 game every year. Excuse me, guys. A little sick here, but every week 1 game, the Saints seem to lose. It's been a yearly thing. Week 1, they never come to play. This may be the year that they realize that and they, perform different and win. But I think the Texans plus the 7 is definitely good value here. They have a good team. They will be able to keep up with the Saints. I think that the Saints are just a bit overrated, especially early on in the season, considering their past and everything, how they lose every year, week 1. Like I said, look it up. It's actually insane. They seem to lose every week 1 game every year, and not much has changed with their team. So take that how you want it. The over-under is pretty high, so I would typically stay away from that. But if you do believe it's going to be high scoring, it might be something that you want to look into, consider there. And finally, we got the last game here. Denver Broncos going up against the Oakland Raiders in Oakland, Monday Night Football. The John Gruden special. This game is interesting to say the least. Spread is even. Over-under is 43. I'm going to tell you where the value is here. And the reason why I say the value is definitely at the over is because this offense for the Broncos was made for Joe Flacco. If you look at this offense and compare it to the offense he had when he won the Super Bowl with the Ravens, it is scary similar. It's pretty insane. I think he's going to perform very well with the Broncos this year. And their defense is no joke. They really aren't. They are weak in a few positions, which is why I believe the Raiders will be able to keep up with play action passes and a couple deep balls here and there with Tyrell Williams or Antonio Brown. But overall, I do believe that the game will go over, and I do like the Broncos here to win the game. I think you're getting really good value. If Hard Knocks wasn't a thing, I think the Broncos are favored here. I think the Hard Knocks show and everything like that with the Raiders has definitely hyped them up a bit more than they really are. I don't want to say, hype them up better than what they really are, but in my opinion, I just don't think on paper their team is as good as people say. Just my opinion, though. It seems like we're done here, though, for the Week 1 games, predictions, and, brief reviews of each and every game. If you have any questions at all, and, you want to reach out to me about the team or family packages that I offer here at Greenway Sports, just hit me up in the email in the description below. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and leave a comment down below and just let me know anything that you're thinking, what teams you think are going to perform well this year, anything like that. It was nice talking to you guys. Everybody stay blessed. Have a good one.